Peace back. Welcome back to Smitty's Corner. So, for this one right here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to listen to a man who is beyond his 20s. And this individual here has never once, ever in his life, from what he says in the description, had sexual intercourse with a woman. So, there are a lot of us who may be baffled by these things. So, we have a lot of terms and names being thrown around nowadays. So at the same time, I notice a lot of people don't take time to think for themselves and figure out exactly which direction do they want to go in with things in life. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and listen to what he has to say. And I'll tap in. This might be a 2 to 3 part series, just so you know. But with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's go ahead and listen to him and rock out.
First, that I use the term incel very loosely here, because there's sort of an implication that not only am I powerless to change my situation, but also that I'm owed something in some way. And I just want to make it clear that whatever the issue is, it's most definitely something going on with me. And I don't think I'm powerless to change my situation. Like I don't want to come off like I'm blaming others for my issues. I most definitely don't.
I'll tell you this much right now, off rip. He did start off saying I'm powerless within my situation. Then he turns right around seconds later and says I'm not powerless in my situation. So off rip, me as one who isn't, let's just say that category of life is not difficult. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Me listening to that off rip, I can see why possibly we're already going into the direction of why he is still a virgin. Because, that already is like confusing. So we're going to keep listening and see what we have. Let's rock out.
Feel that way. I'm not like a forum member. I don't feel like I'm hopeless. The only reason I'm using that word is because, that's kind of the word that's being used to describe sort of my situation, And I also...
And fellas, for the record, can you get some like sympathy box off of doing things like this? Yeah, you can. But like if you ever think that like truly that one that wants you and that really is, to your equal yoke, you will never find. Why? Because what you're doing is you're looking for a woman at your lowest state. At your lowest state, there's no way you're going to find somebody who's at your equal yoke because you're not at your best. Did you see where we just went? If you look for somebody while you're at your lowest state, you will not find who you are equally yoked with. Why? Because you did not search for them while you were at your best. You need to be at your top shape, peak, and form. That way you can make a much better decision as to who it is you're going for. You see, that's why I always go back to when I speak about know oneself, know yourself. Why? Because it's very, very clear, as I can see right here, in which I speak of before. Solitude for the wise ones is considered to be opportunity. That same solitude for the fool is considered to be torture. Let it marinate. Let's keep rocking out.
I want to say that, like, the lack of sex in my life is probably not what the real issue is. I mean, I almost never even think about that, actually. Like, I'm not going around saying things like, crap, still haven't done it yet. I think it's probably just a symptom of a...
Well, there is an old saying that says you can't miss what you never had. So, I mean, I don't know. But at the same time, even in nature, like let a male elephant, a bull, let a bull elephant go. Like you can look it up behind me, A bull elephant, if it goes too long without being able to mate, it gets very, very extremely aggressive. And then it just starts to tear through and just kind of kick everything smaller than it, stomps, squish, squash, everything that is beneath it. I think the only ones that have a chance of survival might be the giraffes. Any and everything else that's beneath that elephant is getting trampled if that bull elephant cannot mate. My point is this: at some point, one must release, and I mean this in a healthy way. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm going to listen more. I'm going to see where we are, but I don't know. Maybe is it because you just haven't figured out exactly what it is that you want yet? And I mean that gender-wise. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but there are some people who struggle with those things, and maybe he's not tripping because maybe come to find out at the end, that's not really what he's into. Or maybe that's really what he's into, and he really is just lost for words on how to go about achieving his goal. I don't know, but let's keep listening.
Broader issue, something subconscious probably. I'll get more into this later. But yeah, I'm an incel. Never been in a romantic relationship, never been in a sexual relationship. Honestly, I've never even like hugged or held hands with a girl. KHHV. I'm 31 years old. I'm so
31 years old, never held hands, never hugged, never touched. You know what's crazy? Like, even me as a dad, like, for example, I know that all of these things start with, like, family, right? So I would say for myself, the main reason why I do believe part of the reason why I don't have a hard time at all dealing with women out in the world is because there are beautiful women all throughout my family. So I'm accustomed from my family, even down to just growing up, like in my neighborhood and stuff like that. Like, I used to be around some really nice looking women. Like, I'm accustomed to that. So it's not something that's foreign to me. So what I'm saying is a lot of these things, before I even got to the intimate stage of my life, I had these encounters back basically when I was just, hanging out and chilling. So I was already being, bred into that state of how to act, how to deal with women when you're around them, even before I was dealing with them on that level. So my point is, in which I'm speaking on before we keep watching the video, is how much experience have you had around them before you even tried to date them? Just on a natural, just chill, even like your friend in school who might be a girl and you all are in the 5th grade. You know what I mean? All of those things. It really does have a hand to play in how you deal with women once you become a grown man and once you decide to step out into the world and go ahead and get you some coup-de-tang. But with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's keep on listening.
I'm uncomfortable with this topic that even saying the word like sex and sexual feels kind of like my mouth is like fighting against me as the words come out, like I'm cursing in front of my parents or something. I get the sense that mentally healthy people probably don't feel this way. Something just feels like it remains undeveloped in my head. Like, if you ever played Age of Empires 2 and you were playing the computer opponent on the very easy setting and they just never get past the few.
Okay, so we already got an indication that these are one of those that will take on a Friday night Xbox and Monster over some coup-de-tang. Let's just keep it 1,000. If their brand new game just came out that they love and they've been waiting for on that night, and they had one option, bone this chick who is bad as ever, or play Elden Ring, they just might have a joystick in their hand. Let's keep on rocking out.
Feudal age, and you could just go in and like wipe them out. That's me. I'm stuck in the feudal age. I feel like something possibly just went awry with my development. I used to think people were like acting when they would say things like, yo, baby. Like to impress their buddies or something. Because I've literally never had the inclination to do something.
Nah, because see, the thing is, what you're missing is this, right? No. A dude that says, yo, baby, to impress his homies is G-A-Y. And I don't say that in a bad way. I'm just saying, no, like, we don't say yo, baby to our homies. We say yo, baby to women. And we only say it because apparently there are some women who like it. Apparently there's a man out there who figured out his niche. He figured out what works for him. Hey, guess what? There's some dudes that saying, yo, baby, that works for him. Guess what? They work that thing. They work that magic. And they do what they got to do. And they, yo, baby. And they hit all kinds of Fonzies and all kind of leather jackets and good times and all this other stuff on them. Why? Because it works for them. They found their niche and they found the class, grade, caliber, and I guess you can say personality characteristic traits of the women in which they would love to be with and those who love to be with them. So guess what happened? They found who they were looking for subsequently. Let's keep on going.
Like that, like honk at a girl while driving by or whatever. But the older I got, the more I started to think maybe they're not acting. And maybe something different is going on with me. Seriously, I mean, I've never even liked a girl.
Maybe something's going on with me. If you're fighting with some kind of other attractions in some other directions, then, just you can express that. But so far, yeah, let's just say this is under review. Let's keep rocking out.
People always say things like, oh, I like her, or I like her. But I never knew what that meant. I've thought things like, well, maybe I'm asexual. But I don't think that's true either, because, it's not like I'm completely...
Well, first of all, okay. All right, so, boy, man, there's so much to unpack here. All right, first of all, men don't do pronouns, and men don't do all of asex, cis, male, and nope. It's just, I'm a guy, you're a chick, that's pretty much it. See, all of these, what you're incorporating, you want to know why it's probably hard for you to get a woman that's really attracted to men, because you're coming off as one of her homegirls. Get back in your position. Take lead, do what you got to do. And just kind of walk in motion. Let's keep on rocking on.
Devoid of desire. Feels off to say that out loud. I think I'm quite possibly what they call a mental cell. Some sort of mental block that won't let me advance into the castle age. I feel like possibly my self-esteem is so low that I've
Nah. It's your mouth. It's what you speak. It's what you say about yourself. You make videos about it, then you sit back and you watch it. And guess what? It's a whole bunch of people who like to trauma bond with you. So you have possibly a whole lot of numbers, primarily from people who are right in the same headspace as you. Is that a bad thing? I can't say if it's bad or good. I'm just saying, it is what it is, and it's something that I observed. So with that part, being said, all right, bet. If you know that that's the case, then maybe the first thing you might want to change is your language, your headspace, right? Definitely the way you're dressed right now, the taco meat coming out of, well, that's not even taco. We'll call that ground turkey. So that's that ground turkey coming out of the shirt. Got your buttons undone. You got a beanie on with a collar shirt. All right. So I'm just saying, look, right? It's certain things, even down to your background. You're obviously in your garage. Anybody with a house has those doors on garages. We all see those. So you're sitting in the corner of your garage, which then will have one to question, why aren't you able to record inside the house? So then that would make a woman question, who does he live with? You see where all of the, you see the snowball effect I'm trying to help you out with. So just off rip, you see, you got to remember, people look at your background and everything. Your best bet, even if you were going to sit there, I'm pretty sure you have the intelligence to know how to do a green screen or something. Do a green screen. Make sure people can't see what actually is in your background. That right there would at least be a help, you see. Definitely switch up the gear, all right? If you're able to, looks like we have a 5 o'clock shadow, grow some facial hair. Get some facial hair on if you're able to get some. The whole naked face does definitely give off pedo vibes, generally with women and men, all right? So there are quite a few things I would say that we can look at, but let's keep on going. Let's rock out.
consciously ruled out the possibility of ever like getting a girlfriend or whatever. Like, you know, like, yeah, that's never going to happen for you. Don't even concern yourself. And, you know, I also don't discount the possibility that maybe everyone else is just as terrified as I am. But, you know, I just like lack courage because, you know, I do sort of have like a terrified fascination with relationships and.
Do you know how most people who fight got used to being in the ring, getting punched and kicked, even knocked out? Yep, even being hammered down to the floor, right? So they get beat up real bad. But then they realize, like, you know what? As bad as I thought it really would be on my first time, you know what? Yeah, I'm sore, it hurt, I bet. But you know what? On top of the adrenaline and the willpower of, nah, we gonna get back. We gonna get back. Nah, as you know, AKA, I guess you could say, knock me down, but I'm still gonna get back up, right? That type of headspace. Like, yo, you got to get punched in your face in order to know what it's like to really be a fighter. You got to get tackled in order to know what it's like to really be a football player, you know? Like, really, though. You have to know what it's like to lose a game by points, by seconds, or by a whole lot and you got crushed in a basketball game and or baseball. You got to know these things, right? You got to know what it's like to go up to a chick and try to talk to her and she really ain't feeling you. Why? Because it helps you buffer on what you need to work on. Because you know what men do generally when we leave that situation, we like off rip. We're so self-conscious, ladies. We really are. The first thing we do is we go back to wherever we sitting or our car, wherever, or we just walk off. And then we think about why I couldn't get her. Considering you didn't say I'm married or say, you know what I'm saying? Like considering you just single and it's like, you know, a bachelorette type setting. If there's a reason why you didn't want to get with me, I'm going to think to myself, I'm going to be so self-conscious. Was it my height? Was it what I said? Is it my, I don't know, is it my shirt? We're going to look at ourselves. Is it my shirt, my shoes? We're going to smell our breath. You know, is, you know, my breath fresh on the, I know, okay, I sprayed my mint. I got my double mints and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to check ourselves. But guess what happens during that time of checking yourself? You also reflect back on that encounter. And guess what we do each time over and over again? We keep on buffering it. And when we keep buffering it, we just get better and better and better. That's what you got to do. You just have to get out there. It's just something no one really truly can teach you. You just got to get out there. You just have to get the bumps and bruises. You have to get the exceptions along with the rejections so you can map out and balance out exactly why you got the exceptions and what type of women they were, why you got the rejections, what type of women they were, and then you can balance out and map out better the direction you want to go in to meet your partner and or mate. Let's keep on rocking out.
Sex. Like, on the one hand, I'm too afraid to even look. Like going to the edge of a skyscraper and looking down. But on the other hand, it's like I kind of want to see what everyone's talking about. This theme of being terrified by something and fascinated with it at the same time is a repeating pattern in my life that I will get into later. But also, you know, maybe I am right to be so cautious. Like, maybe my instincts are in the right place. Maybe this whole sex business just isn't for me and I can sense it
Maybe the sex business, that sounds like prostitution and or pornography. But, I mean, it's okay. I guess he meant relationships because we want to keep these words intact because words matter. But with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. We're going to get to part 2. Respect.